ever have one of those moments where the air literally changes texture in? You just know something in your life has hit its breaking point. That was me, standing in a sun-faded shelter at my family's yearly picnic, plastic cup in hand, pretending everything was fine. My name's Zoe Carter. I am tiga puluh 4, and for almost 2 years, I secretly covered my brother's rent while everyone in my family thought he was the one helping me. Yeah, ... Wrap your head around that. It started temporarily. You know how that word gets stretched until it loses all meaning? I thought I was doing the right thing. Helping until he got back on his feet, but temporary quietly became routine. Routine turned into expectation, and expectation turned into Welma, automatic payment, every first Monday of the month. So, picture this. The barbecue smokes curling around the picnic tables. Kids are chasing bubbles, and my brother Taylor taps his plastic cup with a fork like he's hosting an awards dinner. All right, everybody, he calls, grinning that grin that's half charisma, half chaos. A toast to the one who always shows up, broke, desperate, and still trying to matter. Laughter from my parents, my cousins, even a whistle from across the lawn. And me? I just stared at him. The joke was meant to sting lightly, but it cut hard, right through the spot where I'd been hiding all the resentment, exhaustion, and that ugly mix of pity and pride. A week earlier, he'd messaged, "Rent's due, can you move some cash? Promise it's the last time." And like the emotional ATM I had become with a heartbeat, not interest fees, I'd transferred it. So hearing him joke about me being broke and desperate felt like getting slapped by my own blind loyalty. I don't know what came over me, but my mouth just ... moved. I raised my cup slowly, steady hands betraying how much I was shaking inside. To the desperate one, I said, eyes locked on him, who just lost their rent sponsor. And just like that silence, not your usual awkward silence, this one snapped across the tables like a crack in glass. My brother's grin froze. My mum's fork covered me. Even my dad, the family diplomat, looked like he'd swallowed a bad grape. That was the moment everything shifted. Tyler stammered first. "Very funny. Zoe, you're so dramatic." But nobody laughed. Dad tried to rescue the vibe, raising his cup without meeting my eyes. All right, let's not make this a thing. It's just a joke." But the damage was already done. I didn't sit, didn't apologize. I'd done enough of both for a lifetime. I just stood there, calm on the surface, feeling years of suppressed guilt peel off me like wet paint. Because the truth was, I'd been paying my grown brother's rent. Not once, not twice monthly, quietly keeping him afloat while pretending I was the struggling one. He shot me a glare that could have melted steel. "You really cut it off? You're kidding, right?" "No," I said. "I'm done." That simple. No excuses, no softening the blow. Just the word I should have said 2 years ago. Mum whispered, "Zoe, not here," in that tone parents use, when what they mean is, don't make a scene. But the scene had already been made by him, in front of everyone. Tyler's girlfriend, Megan, piped up then quietly. "You told me you were handling it," she said. He snapped. I was handling it. I didn't even bother pointing out that handling it was what I'd been doing every single month. Driving back to my hotel in Nashville later that afternoon, I replayed all his smirk, Mum's look, Dad's deflection, and beneath the sting, another voice spoke up inside me. If I keep helping him like this, what kind of sister am I turning him into? At the hotel, I checked my phone. Dozens of messages, missed calls from Mom, Dad, and of course, the golden boy himself. I ignored them, had my charade, tried to convince myself that coffee and silence could fix emotional whiplash. Then I saw the voice note from Tyler. I almost didn't play it, but morbid curiosity wins every time. His voice came through low, stranded none of that usual swagger. "Zoe, that was messed up. Okay, you can't just cut me off like that. The rent's due Monday. I've got $80 to my name. You know I'm looking for work. I just need 1 more month." Then the volume dropped. "You know I'd help you if it were the other way around." Ouch, that line, because we both knew he wouldn't. My thumb hovered over the transfer button on my banking app. That familiar temptation to fix everything crept in. "Just this once," whispered the old habit. "Just 1 more month." But then I saw it months of identical transfers, all labeled TC housing. Neat, clean, clinical. None of them showed the anxiety, the scrimping, the guilt. I didn't hit transfer. I hit cancel recurring payment. And when the bank app popped up the message, "Are you sure you want to stop this payment?" It felt weirdly poetic. Yeah, I was sure. A few minutes later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hi Zoe, this is Mark Jennings. I'm Tyler's landlord. He gave me your number just checking if the usual transfer's on the way." He'd literally given out my number like I was his personal payroll department. I almost laughed. Then the anger settled into clarity. So I typed back, "Hi Mark? No, there won't be a transfer this month. Tyler will need to contact you directly. Simple, firm, period." Next morning, family group chat. Pure chaos. Mom pleading for peace. Dad declaring, "We'll all talk like adults," which, in our family, meant I'd be on trial before lunch. When I walked into their house later that day, the tension felt thick enough to slice. Dad stood like a judge behind the counter. Mom was cleaning the same plate over and over. Tyler sat at the table, foot bouncing under the chair, Megan beside him, her arms crossed tight. "So," Dad said, "you closed that account in front of everyone." "That was low, Zoe." I almost laughed. "Low," I repeated. "The toast was low. Closing the account was overdue." Tyler pointed at me. "You could have just talked to me. You didn't have to embarrass me." "Funny," I said dryly. "That's all I wanted you to stop doing to me." I set my phone on the table, screen facing up. Transaction history. Regular transfers matched with cash withdrawals. "You told me it went straight to the landlord," I said, voice steady. "So why all the cash out?" He froze. Megan's eyes darted to him. "Cash? What cash?" Tyler's jaw tightened. "None of your business." Dad leaned in, voice heavy. "Tyler, are you gambling?" The way he said no answered the question. It wasn't Shamit, was fear. That was the real gut punch. It finally clicked that the money hole wasn't rent. It was risk. It was dice. Abs. The spinning wheels of I'll win it back. Mum pressed her hands around her mug, whispering, "We just wanted to help you through a rough patch." He sighed softly. "I know, Mom. But maybe letting him hit the ground isn't cruelty, it's gravity doing its job." Silence again. Heavy. Sad. Tyler slammed his palm on the table. "So now I'm just the villain. You, with your fancy e-commerce job and perfect life. Come on, Zohu, are you kidding? A younger version of me would have jumped to defend, apologize, minimize. But not this time. I don't think I'm better, Tyler," I said. "I just had to face my mess alone. You had us, and you turned us into your fallback plan." He glared, but I saw something flicker hurt. Maybe recognition. Megan's voice cracked when she asked, "You used her money for bets, Ty?" He groaned, defeated. "Some of it. Not all. I thought I could flip it and pay her back double." Mom's hand trembled. Dad looked 10 years older. I can still remember that awful stillness, like everyone could hear the sound of illusions collapsing. When you love someone who keeps breaking promises, you get addicted to the potential version of them. The one you imagine after every apology. "The next time I'll change ghost," that keeps you hoping. That's what had held me hostage. Loyalty disguised as love. He muttered, "So you get to be the hero. I'm the screw-up." "Great. You're not the villain," I said gently. "But I'm done funding this chapter of your story." He spat back. "You sound like one of those self-help podcasts." "Maybe," I shrugged, "but podcasts never emptied their savings for you." Even Dad looked like he wanted to laugh. Just a little. Then Megan quietly said the line that cracked him for real. "I didn't sign up to carry your secrets," he begged. "Please don't leave. I'll fix it. I'll sell stuff. Get another job, whatever you want." She looked at him for a long moment and whispered, "It's not about what I want. It's about who you are when no one's rescuing you." And something about that hit me straight in the chest, because that's exactly what I'd never allowed him to find out. I turned to him. "Tyler, I don't want you to lose anything, but I also can't keep losing bits of myself so you don't feel pain." "That's not love, it's fear, dressed up in generosity," Dad murmured. "But love's supposed to be unconditional." "Sure," I said. "Unconditional doesn't mean unlimited. Real love still has boundaries. Otherwise, it's just self." That was the end. Really, not slammed doors or shouting just exhausted clarity. The following weeks were the strangest peace I'd ever felt. No reminders. No hasis, quick favor. Just ... quiet. Mom occasionally slipped, saying, "We helped him just a bit. He'd have been on the street." And I'd say, kindly, "You can help how you like. I'm out of that business." Some nights it still ached imagining him alone, maybe scared, maybe finally facing what I'd shielded him from. But other nights, I slept deep, guilt-free, for the first time in years. Then came the message that made me stop mid-scroll. Got a second job, nights, at the warehouse, moved into a smaller place with a roommate. Not asking for money. Just thought you'd want to know? I stared at the screen, hand over my mouth. I typed back, I'm glad you found something. That sounds hard but like progress. I meant what I said. I won't pay your bills, but if you want help building a plan, I'm here for that. No reply. But I think silence sometimes means growth, not avoidance. A few months later, the picnic became family legend. According to Mom and Dad, it was the day the kids went too far. According to my cousins, it was Queen Zoe finally my own version. It was quieter. It wasn't revenge. It was recovery. The day I stopped earning my place in my family through transactions and started protecting it with self-respect. Messages started trickling again from Tyler, short ones this time. Got promoted from part-time, then, weeks later, a photo of a tiny kitchen. Not fancy, but it's mine, signed my own no cosigner. I didn't cry, but my throat ached. I texted back, I'm proud of you. And for once, I think we both believed it. My parents had the hardest time adjusting. Mom still defaulted too. We just want to make sure he's okay. And I'd remind her, he'll never be okay if we keep cushioning the fall. We had long talks hard once about the difference between support and enabling, helping versus rescuing. It wasn't instant harmony, but slowly they started asking, what's his plan? Instead of what can we give him? Every time they slipped, I'd smile and say, remember, help should have an end date. Here's the truth. No story time wants to sell. There's no tidy happily ever after. Tyler stumbled again once or twice. He called our parents. Sometimes they helped, sometimes they didn't, but I stayed firm. And slowly, he stopped expecting it. Our relationship, still messy, still human but lighter. We laughed again without the invisible ledger between us. That, more than anything, told me I'd done the right thing. About a year later, at another family get-together, Tyler nudged me and said, relax. No toasts today. Pause, then a grin. Paid rent this morning, by the way. We both burst out laughing. Real laughter this time, clean, not loaded. And I thought, maybe this is what healing actually looks like. You know, everyone talks about family first. But nobody asks which version of family are you putting first? The version where everyone smiles and suffers quietly? Or the version where honesty hurts at first, but heals properly after? Love without truth isn't loyalty, it's servitude. If you take anything from my story, let it be this: boundaries aren't barriers. They're breathing space. They don't end relationships, they rescue the ones worth keeping. Because sometimes, love means walking away from the pattern, not the person. So tell me honestly, if you had to choose between keeping the illusion of a perfect family or protecting your sanity, which would you pick? Would you stay the reliable one, the go-to fixer until you break? Or would you be the selfish one who finally puts the weight down and saves what's left of yourself? Somewhere out there, another Zoe is sitting with her phone open, staring at her own version of that recurring payment, wondering if she dares hit cancel. If you know her or if you are her, share this story with her, and if you want more true stories about boundaries, betrayal, and that wild thing we all chase called self-respect, subscribe right now to Revenge Diary. Because here, we don't just tell revenge stories, we tell stories of redemption, the kind that starts with one brave little no.